Cale Makar is the best defenseman on planet Earth right now. Do we have the next Cale Makar in this upcoming NHL Draft? Let's find out, shall we? Welcome back, hockey fans! Welcome in if this is your first time to the channel. I'm Josh. This is the Hockey Flow, and today it's Saturday, June 11th, 2022. You know what that means. We got a special video today. That's right. We got the NHL Draft just under a month away. We did a special on the top 3 overall prospects. I'll leave the link down in the description for you. Be sure to check that one out. It was a lot of fun. But I figure, as I'm looking through all these mock drafts, I see 2 defensemen that pop up next to each other all the time. Nemec and David Jiricek. And both are excellent candidates to be the top defensemen in the NHL Draft this year. But I thought it'd be fun to break both of those 2 down, go through pros and cons. We're going to give you some player comps even, and at the end I'm going to give you my opinion on who I think is going to get picked first in this next NHL Draft. So stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy the content, take a moment, like the video, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I'll take a moment, I'll be right here waiting for you. I really do appreciate it, helps us out a ton, and we do have a giveaway going on. I'll give you more on that at the end of the video, but without further ado, let's get right into the top 2 defenders in the upcoming NHL Draft. All right, first and foremost, we're going to look at Nemec. I'm a huge fan of this young lad. He is the Slovak defender, right-handed. He's listed at 6 foot tall, 192 pounds. I see some mock drafts talking about him maybe being listed closer, or 6'1", but for the sake of this, we'll say 6 foot, a solid, healthy 6 foot. And I tell you what, I'm a huge fan of his game. Just on the highlight reels and stuff, you see the great plays he makes, but when you really break his game down and see what all the scouting reports talk about, there is a lot to love with this kid. So let's get into it. The pros, his skating ability. That's the first thing that stands out when you turn on the highlight reels, is how gracefully he just glides around the ice with the puck too. That is something that's very important. Of course, being able to skate on your own is excellent, but he also is excellent with the puck, and to be honest, that could be his number one strength, is his overall skating ability. But the other thing that really stands out for him is his mindset, his confidence, and that's something that Jiricek, his teammate at the most recent World Championships, talked about. We're talking about Jiricek as being the number 2 overall pick, right? So his opinion matters, and honestly, maybe number 1 overall pick, depending on who you talk to. Me personally, I would love it if the Canadians picked him, but that's a discussion for another day. I digress. But Jiricek says the one thing that stands out for him is his hockey IQ and his mindset and his confidence. He is the most confident player, but not cocky, right? There's a fine line to navigate there between cocky and confidence, and he does it wonderfully, and he's extremely confident in his game. A quote from him in one of the scouting reports I saw was, he says he's the best defender in the draft. And you know what, you want your players to believe in themselves, absolutely, but from a hockey standpoint, he controls the pace of the game. That's his biggest thing. He slows the game down. The game is never too fast for him, and that's very important, especially for a young player coming into the league. And tying back to what Jiricek said, his hockey IQ, it's off the charts, and we see that in his play, right? His breakout ability, his passing, there's a lot of Adam Fox in there, and I won't jump ahead to the player comp necessarily, and I wanted to list Adam Fox, but I do see some of those excellent passing traits out of him, but he's also strong defensively. See, that's the thing that I kind of got lost with, is everything's about the offense. It's offense. You see him scoring goals, you see him working the left side on his offhand, and he's scoring or he's assisting, and that's wonderful, right? But what about defensively? Are you solid defensively? We're talking maybe a potential top 5 pick here. You have to be excellent defensively. And he is. Nemec excels defensively. He's got an active stick. He's always poke checking. His stick seems to always be in the right place, intercepting pucks. He uses that hockey IQ really well. And the last pro for him, and probably the biggest one for our analytic friends, is he has the strongest statistical profile, not only in production but also his underlying numbers. He really does stand out. He's a analytic darling, if you will, and that's good, right? I'm a firm believer in numbers, but you also have to pass the eye test, and he absolutely does. But from a production standpoint, this last season, he did have 26 points. That's very good. 26 points in 39 games. Defenseman, only 1 goal, but that's okay. That shot's going to develop. His shot is still really good, and what I love seeing in the highlights, a lot of his goals come from his offhand side. So he's a right-hand defender, right? So 9 times out of 10, he's going to be on the right-hand side, but he uses his hockey IQ so well to find the open space, and you always see him kind of drifting over to that left side and opening up his shot. shot. And, sure enough, it works, and it works beautifully. So with that in mind, what are some of his cons? What happens offensively when he is trying to do too much? And that is something that is called out. When he gets too fancy on offense, sometimes he turns the puck over. Defensively, he can get a little passive, is kind of what I saw in there. And to be honest, I didn't see that as much. I didn't watch a ton of tape, so you guys will have to let me know too. I scour the internet for as much as I can, but I'm not watching full games, things like that. I love hockey, but I only have so many hours in the day, right? But overall, I didn't see the passiveness in it. And, if you did, let me know, call it out, send me a clip. I would love to see it. But what I saw was a very active defender. He knew how to read the gaps. He was intercepting pucks. His stick seemed to always be in the right spot. It was really neat. So for a player comp, I wanted to so bad just leave it at Cale Makar and walk away, drop the mic and leave it, but I really can't, because I don't see a lot of the quick twitch that you see with Cale Makar. I mean, he is just so otherworldly in how fast and how he glides. I mean, you do see some of that, right? And that's why I put Cale Makar light, because some of the things you see, he captains the power play, for example, where he's out there on penalty, he's doing it all, but he controls the pace, right? He's captaining the ship, so he's got the puck, he's controlling it, he's making the right decisions. So I do like the Cale Makar light, but another comp that I saw that I do like is a right-handed Roman Josi. Not necessarily that his numbers and that he's going to evolve into a Roman Josi. I mean, he's only listed at 6 foot, Roman Josi 6'2", but I do get what the comps say. When I see him play, I do see a lot of Roman Josi's game in that power play, captaining the ship, running the offense from the point. He does a really excellent job. So I definitely think Simon Nemec would be an excellent candidate to be the first defender taken, but is he going to be? Let's look at our next candidate. So we're looking at David Jiricek. So this is our Czech defender. He's a little taller, right? 6'3", but a little lighter, 187. So about same weight, essentially, 187 to 192, but he does have 2 to 3 inches, depending on listing, in height. Now, the pros for Jiricek, because Jiricek he's kind of the complete package, and what I mean by that is he has the prototypical size, he's got speed, he's got excellent defending, he contributes offensively, he's got everything you kind of want out of a defender. And there's a reason why we're having a conversation about these two in particular, right? Because they are excellent. They're projected as top 2 defensemen on a team. So he's the complete package. He has that size, and I know the inches, a couple inches shouldn't necessarily matter, but in this regard, I think it does. And a lot of that too also speaks to their play styles, right? Jiricek is a lot more physical. Whereas Nemec isn't. He's not necessarily going to throw his body around as much. He's very effective on the forecheck and will get into the spaces that he needs to. But Jiricek, the place that he excels is with his gap control and using that size to post up people, block out offenders when he's defending, or using his size on offense even to control the puck. But his number one attribute, everything I see in all the scouting reports, is his ability to read the game and his intercepting puck skills. He reads the gaps. It's incredible to watch the highlights, to be honest. His sticks just seems to be flying out of nowhere. For my NHL 22 fans, it's like he's got that quick pick ability already. It's just incredible to watch him intercept in the range he has. He uses his size so well. He also has a good shot, right? Nemec also has a great shot, but Jiricek doesn't falter in that category. He captains the power play. He runs the offense can run through him as well. He's an effective passer. Offensively, he doesn't have any gap. He doesn't really have that many gaps as much either. Again, we're talking about potential top 5 picks here. We shouldn't have too many weaknesses in their games. This is a fairly strong draft. Maybe not blow your head off number 1 pick, but overall, these top 5, top 10 picks, we're going to have some good talent. And by that, he shouldn't come off the ice. We put that in there. He's going to be on the ice for all plays, power plays, penalty kills, 5-on-5. He excels. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like pick your cup of tea, right? Well, the cons with Jiricek is he's got an injury concern, right? He's coming off a major knee injury. So folks it would be nice to have seen him have a full season this last year. But to be honest, he's played games since the injury and has looked great. So to me, the injury isn't a big deal. I didn't really factor that in here. But some of the real world concerns, acceleration, short bursts, speed. Like he does have the long end speed, it will get him by. But that short burst acceleration, those first few steps, we talked about that with Connor McDavid. That's another thing with Cale Makar. it's like you flip a switch and he's instantly at 100 miles an hour, and that's something that Jiricek doesn't necessarily have. He can get beat on that first or second step, but he does still have good top end speed. And then on offense, he's got to mature a little bit, make some better decisions. And to be honest, Nemec does too, right? You could honestly find bad film on any player and see, oh yeah, they made a bad decision, right? Shane Wright too, and he's the captain of great decisions. But overall, I think Jiricek is going to be an excellent NHL player, and I don't really have concerns with his offensive selection. He's 6'3", 187, excels defensively, is great offensively as well. Player comp, all I could think was Aaron Ekblad. Maybe that's the number 5 that he wears and that he was wearing in a lot of the highlights as well. But everything that I see, he plays more on the right side all the time, right? Like you see in the highlights in his goals and where he's producing, it's camped out on that right side. You don't see as much of him floating to the left like Nemec. He is a defender first and foremost, but he also has that offensive ability and throws pucks at the net for tip-ins, deflections. Aaron Ekblad, if David Jiricek turns out like Aaron Ekblad, man, I don't think anyone would have any complaints about that at all. We also have those injury concerns, so I think that is a very solid comp. That's just screamed at me the entire time. But let me know in the comments, who do you guys think Jiricek compares to? But moment of truth, the first defenseman drafted in the 2022 NHL Draft is it going to be Simon Nemec, or is it going to be David Jiricek? It's going to be Simon Nemec. The Seattle Kraken are going to take the defender, number 4 overall. I tell you what, I think the Seattle Kraken are building something special. We got Matty Beniers up the middle. You got Jared McCann up the middle from the expansion draft. And now we're going to start working on this back line, right? We trade Giordano away. We can add this excellent young piece. Maybe he's not going to be Cale Makar, right? But to be honest, I think he's going to be something of his own. I think in 5 years' time, we're going to be looking at it and saying, who's going to be the next Simon Nemec? Because Cale Makar is his own thing. Simon Nemec is going to be his own thing too. But that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys so much for hanging around. I do appreciate it. We're going to keep doing fun ones like this, so let me know in the comments which topics you'd like to talk about. We are doing a giveaway right now. We're on that race to 100 subscribers. Again, thank you so much for all the support. We're just getting started here, so keep looking out for videos. But once we hit that 100 subscriber point, we're going to give something away. It's going to be something hockey related, maybe a jersey, an autograph. Definitely worth your time though. Once we get closer to that 100 subscriber mark, I'll keep you guys posted and let you know if we need anything else, and we'll let you know what the exact prize is going to be. But until next time, cheers!